This is a reading from the Notebooks by Marie Valtorta, 1944, July the 4th, and possibly 5th. July 4th. Today there is no dictation, not because of the absence of the voice, but on account of my inability to receive it. Too disturbed, almost raving, with crises equal to those in the bitter days in Viareggio. I'm not in a position to understand. Too much storm. There's no staying in my poor heart and my poor head anymore. No way any more. Lord, have mercy. You had one agony in Gethsemane. How many are you giving me? How many desperate souls are to find peace again through my torment? The writer had proposed to offer a penance every day since May 15th for the despairing, for whom Wednesdays were especially reserved in the dictation on May 29th. To crown off the torture, today from 4 p.m. to 5, I had to withstand a harsh temptation. The tempter wanted to persuade me to simulate for a human purpose. He said, "Write in your own words. With a bit of skill you can now imitate the master's style. Write what may be useful to you to make those who have caused you pain uncomfortable and worse off. He is gullible and will fall for it at once." "No," I replied, "I will never use lying for this or anything else, even to my disadvantage. I write only what I receive from the different voices, and nothing else, nothing of my own. Be off." It was a long struggle. I was sweating as if I had been in an oven. I won, but the devil took revenge by intensifying all the nostalgias, fears, and discomforts. Who is familiar with these struggles? If reason and life last, and we see each other again, I shall explain to you more clearly. I won't say any more now, because I'm crushed by the crisis this morning and the struggle today. July the 5th at 10 a.m. Jesus says, "Be good and patient, soul of mine. If you are able to remain good and patient, I will give you a great gift, as I have given to very few over the centuries. Be convinced, soul of mine, no one else can love you as I love you. One errs and brings disappointment in one matter, and another errs and brings disappointment in another. Only I am never at fault, and never bring disappointment. Be convinced, soul of mine. Little affections and little human comforts may be of use to little souls, but when a soul has been chosen by God, and not by the soul's merit, but by a gift gratuitously given by Him who loves that soul, it ceases to be a little soul, and is nourished with a marrow which turns its smallness into greatness, and then little things are no longer of use. That is, they serve to bring joy like the flowers along a path. But even the most abundant, fragrant, lovely flowers are not nourishing grain. Isn't that so? They are delightful. They are looked at and smiled at, for they are pure and good, even better than the animals, that are always better than man. They are sometimes picked to have some company which does not betray, and a caress that is simple in its purpose, which is only to console. They are smelled to forget the stench emerging from human concupiscence, selfishness, and deceit. No one loves flowers so much as those who are good and unhappy, those who are destined for a superhuman fate. For in flowers they read words of God's goodness, precisely because in flowers they can find the goodness they do not find elsewhere, the company which consoles without ulterior motives, the fragrance which recalls the breeze of the heavens. But one could not live on flowers. Bread is needed. Little things are like this for a true spirit. They are flowers, interwoven with many thorns as well. What can you do? They arise on the paths of the earth, in the places where man passes by, sullying with his carnal trace, and Lucifer sows his seeds of hatred. They are quite different from the flowers on my paths. My weeping and Mary's have made them arise. My blood and that of my co-redeemers, yours too, victim soul, have inundated them. They are eternal flowers. One reaches them by way of a rampart of thorns, the world. But afterwards, oh, afterwards, what peace! I who love, once in a while, pick up one of these flowers of mine and bring it to you beyond the rampart, because I don't want to see you weeping without receiving comfort from me. I who know what the pain of being a redeemer and unloved is. Be convinced, soul of mine, you are no longer a woman. You are mine, not a servant, as you tell yourself, not a slave, as you profess to be, but a bride. and only the spouse can understand, love, and give you the comforts which really are sufficient for you. Come on, then. Come. Where do you find a breast that it is a more secure pillar for you than mine is? Where are there encircling arms offering you safer asylum? Where is there a mouth speaking words and able to kiss you more sweetly than my mouth? Where is there a heart able to beat in time with yours, suffering if you suffer, rejoicing if you rejoice, as mine does? Come then, here. From here there emerge the sweet torments which wound you, to give you my imprint as a crucified one, and the sweet torrents of fire which consume you, to take you pure to heaven. From here it is proper that there also emerge the sweet billows of love to submerge you in a sweetness nursing all the harsh wounds of men. Not mine. Mine should not be nursed. It would mean destroying the most beautiful gift a soul can receive. But tell me, what is the pain of one of my wounds? An agony driving one mad? No. It is an agony augmenting intelligence and strength. Only human wounds really do harm, for their dart is sprinkled with the venom of hatred. My darts have got the honey of love on them, and deify on wounding. My peace be upon your pain. Later, at noon, as soon as I finish praying, Jesus says, what do you have to do? What I did. Remain silent and forgive. It is for this reason that I lend you my gaze. No microscope or electric or radiological ray is so powerful as my eye in seeing the true appearance of creatures. Let all those who think I, as a man, did not know persons, be disenchanted. There was no recess in them which was not as clear and visible for me as the page of an open book exposed to a bright light. With this eye I have you observe when I want to, so that you may know. There are abysmal souls. In an abyss, can there ever be light? No. In the sea depths, or earthly ones, there is only darkness. Sometimes a vestige of light, but usually complete darkness. Blind beings still live therein, blind precisely because sight would be of no use to them, wrapped in darkness as they are. More than useless, it would be a torment, for they would suffer from not seeing. They are blind by their destiny, and in their destiny there is still love. Among men there are spiritually blind people, but not by their destiny, and much less by a loving will. By their bad will, however. The light shines for all men. The voice calls all men. The truth is ready to instruct all men. The way is open to all men. Life wants to give itself to all men. Most men close their eyes so as not to see the light, and their ears so as not to hear the voice. They drift away from the truth, which teaches. They take ways which are opposed to the way. They condemn themselves to an ephemeral existence by rejecting life. They are abysses of gloom. For them it is necessary to say my words, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke chapter 23, verse 34. It is only their attenuating circumstance. It is their only attenuating circumstance. They do not know. If they knew exactly what they are doing and wanted to continue to do so, hell would not suffice to punish them. But they are abysses. They shall answer for having wanted to remain abysses, in spite of the fact that my co-redeemers, in the sense of Galatians second chapter, verses 19 to 20, and Colossians chapter 1, verse 24, they shall have answer for having wanted to remain in abysses, in spite of the fact that my co-redeemers and I have made ourselves a net, descending right down into the abyss, accepting the bitterness of darkness, we, sons and daughters of the light, to take them a vestige of light, bring them to desire it, and carry them to it, to pull them out of darkness. This is the work of the Redeemers. Even when we seem to be in darkness, we who are not darkness, for to have the heroism to become Redeemers, one must be totally inflamed, entirely one with the light, always have so much light in ourselves that we seem to be splendor compared to the real darkness of the blind spirits. They ought to love us for the light we bring them. On the contrary, they hate us, precisely for this reason. Oh, but it doesn't matter. We go back up from their abyss to our abyss. For we too are in an abyss, in God, the abyss of perfection. We go back up and we forgive. And not only this, we pray that they will be forgiven and will have a desire for light. Desire is the first step on the ascent towards the light. Oh, be generous. We are so rich, and they are so miserable. We are one with the Father and possess His spiritual abundance, eternal abundance. They, even if they had all the treasures in the world, are indigent, because they have only smoke and dust, which the wind disperses. They do not have our Father. Be generous. The generosity of suffering and of renunciation itself are trifles compared to this perfection of generosity, which is to strip oneself of every human ferment, to observe, take pity on, forgive, and love one's brothers and sisters who, believe this, even if out of pride they put forth a face of security, do not feel happy and secure. Here, on this heart which loves you, a tear, a kiss, and an act of forgiveness for your poor brothers and sisters. Everything hurts less now. Isn't that so? My words are quite different from the ones the enemy wanted to suggest to you yesterday, on July 4th. Isn't it true? And the sweetness, the current repose, is also quite different from what you experienced yesterday as he prowled around you. You perceived the acridity of his breath. You were burned by his hatred. You suffered because you are not a friend to him, and he causes you repugnance. But now, are you feeling? This is what emanates from me, your God. Peace, sweetness, goodness. Be secure. You have merited this twofold effusion of love because yesterday you loved truth above all human calculation. Go in peace, O my blessed one. The love of God is always with you.